again, we're doing a beautiful disaster, which we haven't done for a while, but this one fits perfectly. I originally thought I was going to do a what the hell is this? But it's too good a film to do a what the hell is this one, so it's a beautiful disaster. And it's The Lone Ranger by Gore Verbinski, released in the 2010s, absolutely loathed critically, just utterly hated. It got in trouble because Johnny Depp was cast as Tonto, even though he's Indian background. It was a mega budget film. They weren't going to cast an unknown in this film, so they hired someone good and put a lot of face paint on him. So they didn't put the Indian face paint on him. They just put face paint as if he's always in face paint to cover up what he looked like, so that it wasn't quite the same. So it never really washed for them. It still annoyed a lot of people, so they did backlash against it. And it was a case of everyone was out for Johnny Depp and Gore Verbinski and Jerry Bruckheimer, who's producer. This was a film they were going to get revenge on them for whatever reasons they wanted. This was a film because it had massive success with the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. First three Gore Verbinski directed, Depp starred in, Bruckheimer produced. They were all solid films. I liked them without loving them. You know, I like the second one better than the other two. But the most people like the first one better and think it went downhill since from there. But Verbinski's an enjoyable director. I mean, he's done a lot of fun stuff. I mean, his films run long, a bit long sometimes, but that's just his style. But they were just out for them. I mean, I think that the fourth Pirates film had come out at that point without Verbinski, and it made a fortune while being loathed by everybody. So they were really out for Johnny Depp and Bruckheimer for that film, I think. Because it made so much more money than it deserved to make. It was just like, can't believe this trash made money. Because it is a very boring film. So, they were all out for it. And nowadays, people are out for this film for different reasons. I mean, Johnny Depp's had a lot of problems with Amber Heard. So, we don't, as I do this video, we don't know how that's going to pan out with the lawsuit, thing. But she accused him of horrible stuff. Then the evidence he gave made her look, from my eyes, to not be telling the truth. Interpret it however you want to interpret it. But I think Johnny Depp's had his worst. I think he seems to be coming back towards... He won't be a big movie star again, but he'll probably be okay as a character actor and he'll probably be fine. Arnie Hammer, he's had a lot of allegations against him recently. I'm not going to start on that. It seems like he's now the one in this film that's the most, dodgy of the bunch. At least for PR value. Like, it's very hard to promote a film with Armie Hammer in it at the moment. So, that's a kind of issue with the film's got. Like, they did a different issue beforehand. Now the issue is the stars. Before it was just a lot of PC stuff, and it was too long. Now it's the stars themselves. Which is a shame because it's a beautiful film. It really is. It is too long. But so what? A lot of films are too long. Verbinski is always too long. I mean, it's just his way. But it is beautiful. It is a film about the legend of Lone Ranger and the idea of why he wears a mask. He wears a mask because the people around him are so corrupt. He can't be a lawman in this area legally. So that's the idea behind it. But the whole idea is that the West is very corrupt. They're trying to build the transatlantic rail line to get from the east to the west. The people who are building it are making a lot of money and are buying up lots of property and are going to own a lot of property around it. Tom Wilkinson plays the guy who's doing that, and surprise, surprise, he's a big villain in this piece. It's not a surprise at all. The film knows it's not a surprise, which is a good thing. The film knows that it's him. It's just waiting for them to pop that it's him, but it kind of knows that he's the villain. He's trying to play good, but he's behind it all. William Fichtner is the obvious villain of the piece, the scarred guy. He's a ruthless, nasty piece of work. You've seen him in lots of films from different directors. he's hamming it up and having a good time. It's one of those performances where he's hamming it up, but it's appropriate for the character because the character's so deranged and weird that, yep, that's the only way to play it. And through the film, it's basically the Lone Ranger learning to become a Lone Ranger, realising why he needs a mask. Realising that a lot of his, because he comes to the West as a guy with lots of ideals and lots of ambitions. If there's something Armie Hammer specialised in early in his career, which now looks a bit dodgy. But in this film it works, and you just have to ignore private life of the actor while watching it. Or the alleged private life of the actor. Also, we use the word alleged. So, it's about him learning throughout the film that he can't be trusted. People can't be trusted. The only person he really trusts is Tonto, and Tonto doesn't like him much. Because it starts out with the Lone Ranger and his brother. The brother is the sheriff, or the Texas Rangers. He's much better at everything. At literally everything, and he gets killed early on. Tonto calls Hammer the wrong brother, because the wrong brother survived. The wrong brother was chosen by the horse Silver to be the Lone Ranger in a supernatural thing, and it's like, wrong brother. There's a really funny scene where all the bodies are lined up, and the horse keeps on going to Hammer, and Depp's always pulling him to the other brother, and the horse always goes back. And it's like, God, really? So there's Tonto does not like the Lone Ranger in this film at all. They learn to deal with each other, but they learn to become a team. But it's a team based where the white guy's a bit of an idiot, and the Indian's mad. Like, Tonto is viewed by other Indians as mad, as a lost cause, as somebody you don't deal with too much because he's crazy. But he might be onto something all the time to prevent his madness. And that brings out a lot of humour in the film. But some people did not appreciate, they didn't like the fact that Tonto and the Lone Ranger did not get on. To me, that makes it funny, is the fact that they in this adventure and they do not get on. Like, they're just trying their best to get through this adventure. And the reason they don't get on is because the Lone Ranger is too naive. And he misses everything. Which I think is funny, but a lot of people didn't like that. They wanted the hero to be strong, and it was like, you're making a Lone Ranger film where Tonto's the hero. It's like, what's wrong with that? And Lone Ranger becomes the hero later on. He's not the hero at the beginning. He is something else at the beginning. He has to learn to become the hero. But it works, so the dynamic works, and they're playing about the whole idea of how the white man exploited the Indians and ran them off the land for various minerals like silver and gold, and how they basically treated, they kind of moving the Indians from to different little land. As soon as that land became something that was worthwhile, they moved the Indians elsewhere or they killed them. And they set them up, and they're setting them up always as the aggressors in this fight, even though the Indians are just trying to survive. And they've got all these like crazy cavalry who are out to make their name, by killing these dastard Indians, even though the Indians are just like, can you just leave us alone? We're just trying to survive. We're not doing anything. And eventually the Indians get fed up with them and actually attack them because it's like, these bloody white people, And the Indians don't even trust Tonto or the Lone Ranger. It's like, nah, we're gonna put you in the ground to die because we do not trust you at all. You're both utterly worthless to us. But you get the point. I mean, this film's on the side of the Indians, but also lets them be funny. But it's on their side. It's like, they've been done dirty repeatedly by these idiots. By the white guy. They've been done horribly. So the film's all about that, and it's all about what these two guys, Wilkinson and Fitchner's characters, have done. Because they started out coming early and been treated well by the Indians, and they find the silver and they kill all the Indians. And they're the villains through the rest of the film who want this silver to make their fortune. And it's just their manipulations to actually do it. Now, there are good action set pieces throughout. There's a moment early on where the attack on the Texas Rangers that kills most of them is a wonderful sequence. There's a great train sequence there on as well, where they're trying to stop a train, a runaway train, where the villains have managed to get Fichtner's character out of the train, and then Tonto and Lone Ranger have to stop the train from crashing, and fail horribly. And we find out Tonto's after the Fichtner character for revenge as well, because he knows he was one of the guys that killed his family. And Tonto is the one in a moving sequence where you find out he's the one who led him to the silver by mistake. And that's the reason why he went mad, because he's the one survivor of that tribe who got wiped out, and he's now out for revenge on these two people. And it becomes this thing about these two guys who haven't even realised they have to deal with this expansion of the West and all the corruption that's going to happen with it. And the only way to do it is to be behind a mask. And so the film's about them learning how to do that. And it ends with the best scene in the film where there's two trains, both have been hijacked, the silver's on the trains, and they're jumping from train to train and try to fight the villains of various different, both the villains and the sidekicks, and they're jumping from train to train throughout, and there's lots of insanely inventive bits, because you've got a kidnapped woman and her child as well, who Lone Ranger's in love with, because she was his brother's wife and the nephew is the kid. So they're trying to protect them. The villains are after them. The villains are after the heroes, and we're doing all these crazy stunts in the trains. It's very Buster Keaton-ish, and it's amazing. It's 10 minutes of beauty in this film. It's just so good. There's lots of other stuff in there. There's lots of atmospheric stuff and tunnels and lots of these weird trains through the landscapes. They're all beautiful, but this sequence is stunningly good. It's one of the best sequences in the 2010s. There's one 10-minute sequence. It's just textbooks how to do an action scene. It's so good. And for that scene alone, the film should have been critically acclaimed. At least to say, look, it's worth seeing for that and this other early train scene. But no, they said, no, it's self-indulgent, it's horrible, do not watch this film, it's disgusting. And it's wonderful. It's a wonderful little film. You should definitely watch it. It's underrated. It's horribly underrated. I'm hoping that some people are now turning towards saying this is actually a lot better than people said it was. I'm hoping that continues, because it does deserve a reassessment. Because Depp made those last two Pirates films that were not that good. But this one redeems it. And it was the one that bombed. You know. He made a Pirates film before this that did well, that no one liked. And the one after it that no one liked, but still made a lot of money. So, this is a film that they got the revenge on him for. So, but it's still a wonderful film. Films can remain wonderful even if they're not understood when they're made. And that's one of the examples of this one. That's why it's a beautiful disaster. It is beautiful. You should definitely see it. But it was not well received, at all, on release. So I hope you enjoyed this video. That's me for now. I don't want to belabor the point anymore, but it is a wonderful film. So I'll see you later with some more videos. So bye for now.